Hey y'all, hey, I'm back. I was getting something so strong today. Getting a message so strong today. And I don't even know that I specifically seen it or heard it, but it was in my spirit real strong, okay? The message was, you gotta put things down to pick things up. And I know, like, it sounds so simple, right? It sounds so simple, right? Like, yeah, if you need to drink water, you gotta put down the top to drink the water, right? If you need to pick up the baby, you gotta put down the things that are in your hand. Um, but we moving a little, in the deeper realm of it, you have to put down your past to pick up your future. It's a must. It's a must. And I know a lot of times when people hear that, they think like, just forget it, wash your hands of it, act like it never happened. You are who you are because of the things you've been through and your life experiences. You'll never forget it. You'll never forget it. But when you move through things in a way that you can forgive it, your life starts to move differently. You'll get a lot lighter, okay? To put your past down and pick up your future, it's not that the things that you're walking into aren't grand things. It's not that they aren't heavy as well, but trauma is a lot heavier than walking into vision, okay? It's going to weigh you down a lot more than what you're walking towards if you can put it down. And just in a lot of things, like you got to put down the way you hold on to things to pick up healing. You have to put down being the way you want to carry the offensive spirit or being offended all the time to pick up accountability. You have to put down bad habits to pick up good ones. You have to put down flesh and your way to pick up what God has for you. And easier said than done, right? I know it is easier said than done, but it's a must. It's a must. Like, you can't carry all of those things at the same time. You can't walk into your future carrying your past. You're gonna fumble some things. And starting out, let me step back so people don't get too far ahead of themselves. Because when you started, you're not going to be aware that you're still carrying some of those things. When you make those decisions and you're like, okay, I want to start healing some things up, and you're like, I'm gonna put the past down. I forgive these things. I want to move forward. You'll start moving forward and realize that you had some things tethered to you. You was carrying some things on your head. You had a backpack on. You had some things clipped to your belt loops. Like, so there'll be times where you stumble in it. There will be times when you walk in and you're feeling great. You're like, I'm so proud of myself. I done started doing what I needed to do. I'm starting to feel lighter. And then something that hits you and you'll trip up. don't let you tripping put you all the way back at the beginning. Have y'all ever seen a race when they running and they fall and they could just be like, I lost, and just give up and walk off, walk off the track? But something in people that have that in their heart won't let them give up. They'll get up and they'll take back off. You know, and where it lands is where it lands. But if you, every time you trip up or something hits you and you feel like you're past something and it comes back up, if you just give up, you'll never be any further. You'll never grow anymore. You'll never be stretched anymore. You'll never be closer to what you're trying to reach than when you began. You may really be closer. You may be right there at the finish line. But if you just sit down, if you just give up and say, I don't got no more in me, I gave it all I got, I did the best I could, and don't push any further, it'll feel just like you was at the beginning. It'll feel just like you were at the starting line because you didn't finish. You didn't get to the greater goal of what you were working towards. And that'll suck. We just have to keep pushing. We have to keep pushing because there's greater later. And not for the people that's not going to try. Not for the people that's comfortable where they at. Not for the people that never started. But for the ones ready to put some work in. Ready to start doing your part in becoming a better version of yourself. Not just forgiving for the sake that you did. Say you did it. Like, oh yeah, I forgive you, I'm over it, I'm past it. But to forgive because you need that. You gotta forgive stuff to be in a better place. Even if you never get an apology. You have to be like, I'm not gonna stay there. I don't want to be in this place. I don't want to hold this resentment. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be frustrated. I don't want to be emotionally stunted anymore. I want to be in a better place, so I'm going to forgive it so I can move forward. When you don't forgive things, you get trapped in it. It'll engulf you. And I know that because I've been there. I have been engulfed in unforgiveness. It took up years. It took up years of my life being mad about something that would never change. Just because you're mad about it doesn't change anything. It already happened. It happened. And that person may never change and continue to do you the same way. But guess what you can do now? Come on. What can you do now? Not put yourself through it. You can choose that I know exactly who this person is and how they are going to move. And I opt out of putting myself through the ridicule, through the shame, through the pain, through the heartache of it all. We're not kids anymore. You don't have to keep on going around people and knowing exactly how they're going to treat you. And just accept it, that that's the way it'll always be. You have a choice that it can be different. You have a choice in it. And yeah, you gotta put down that this is the norm and this is the way things are for a different future, for things being differently and trauma not being your normal. You don't have to accept trauma and pain and grief and sadness and depression as your norm. You can be like, this might have went on for generations before me, but I ain't good with this. I don't want this in my life no more, and I'm going to move differently. And it's not going to be easy. When you are raised and taught and surrounded by a certain thing, you'll feel crazy trying to step out of it. It'll feel so bizarre and so impossible at times. But you gotta just keep on listening to the desire of your heart to have it. You have to keep on pushing through everybody around you saying it's normal and listening to something inside of you screaming for something different. You have to decide, like, no, I'm good on this. I'm gonna move into something. I don't have to be living in trauma and depression and chaos. That I can live in peace, joy, and serenity, okay? And me being the only one, I'm not saying that there's nobody around me that doesn't want to be in a peaceful place, but I have felt for a long time that I was walking this path alone as strongly as I wanted it. You know, not to say that people weren't trying to do things differently and move differently and want different in their life, but I'm like, I want it so bad, I don't want it any other way, okay? I'm not taking it any other way. I want peace and love and joy in my home, that I'm not going to accept chaos in it. And you got to take accountability even in, am I adding the sadness, depression, trauma, and chaos to the situation? It's not people's fault all the time. And even when other people are, and I say this with a trigger warning, because I know how painful it is. I know what feeling the heartbreak of, why are you doing this to me, when I would give you everything I had. When I loved you with the best I had. I know the pain of that. But even in those situations, you have to take accountability in why you continue to be hurt. I had to really sit back and cry about how long I had sat in situations when I know that they did not have what I needed. Because I did not have what I needed. I was surrounded and being in relationships and friendships with people that just could not give me or pour into me, because I couldn't even say, like, I need more than this. It was hard for me to say, like, I deserved love, that I deserved peace, that I deserved joy. Because why would I think that? Why would I think that when nothing around me is telling me that that should be my normal? But my heart and my spirit would not let up on it. It would not let up on it. I kept on being like, I need something different. I need to be in a relationship that I don't have to question what's going on all the time. I'm not confused about where we stand and if you love me how I love you. That I felt supported and trust. I needed to have friendships and family that I didn't question, like, are they talking about me? And that's normal in a lot of homes right now. Or you hear your business, like you literally hear your business being spoke somewhere else. It was like, I told them that in confidence. I just wanted something so different that I'm like, I'm going to have to completely change. I'm going to have to completely change to draw those things around me. I don't want to get to a healthy people and healthy relationships and healthy friendships and a healthy home situation and marriage and kids, and I'm the trauma chaos. I'm like, I have to be different so I can pour everything I need to in that healthy situation. I am a giver, and I will give and give and give and give and give until I ain't got nothing. And one day I woke up to like, girl, you was surrounded by takers. And it was my own fault. It was my own fault. I showed up like, what y'all need? What y'all need? What y'all need? What y'all need? I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. I've been working on some things. I done put some little notes in my pocket. I done stored away some things for later. I got what you need. And so why not? I mean, if they need something, why not go and grab it? It was my fault. I couldn't, even when I was sitting frustrated, like, dang, I couldn't be mad at the people. I showed up that way. Big sign on me, like, I got what you need and I will give it all to you. Like, so that was a lesson I had to learn. And today I was posting videos and a memory on Facebook popped up from 5 years ago. And my friend had asked me to take some pictures in this brand. And the brand was called Royal Reign. And I didn't think nothing of it, you know. They asked me, I'm like, for sure, I got y'all. Like, if I had some clothing and I would ask my friends, I would want them to just put it on and take some pictures. So I did. And when the memory popped up today, the last couple of years, but this year specifically, I have been going through so much stretching. Oh, it literally makes me emotional. Because my pain had told me that I couldn't be who I am right now. But when I seen that memory pop up, it hit different. I didn't know that I was doing that for any other reason but doing a favor for a friend. But when that memory popped up today, I was just flooded with the feeling of God was telling me that when I put that shirt on. That I would experience a royal reign of God. And I put it on. I took the pictures and I posted it. You know, I put their brand up and thought nothing of it. But so many times we move in things that was the same year I met my husband. I took that photo actually right before we went out. I didn't know my royal reign was tied to my marriage. And what was going to come from it. But when I seen that today, I just started crying. Because since I have been married, I have been working so much harder on the things that I needed to make right in myself. I have been single a long time. And for the most part, when people didn't like things or I didn't like what people was doing, I could just go home. I was good on, well, I'm gonna head on out, alright? Like, I'll just head on out and go to the house and we'll reconvene when both of us is over it. Or we won't, and I don't care. But being in a marriage and coming into covenant under God with somebody, if you're intentional and we can't be doing things just to be doing it. A lot of people get married for their wedding day so they can plan it and it be beautiful and they have the photos from it. But to become one with somebody, you have to be so intentional. I was brought to my knees coming in my marriage. I have been praying harder than I ever prayed in my life. The day before I got married, I just felt the spirit so heavy that I dropped down. Getting ready for work, I'm pretty sure I was late. But I just said, God, I thank you that I don't look like what I've been through. That the pain of my past hadn't took away the desire to want to be better, to want to love better, to be able to receive love, to still believe that joy and peace, love, growth, God could be a part of this. I've been shown myself so much more in my marriage than I ever was before. Good and bad. Okay. Cause baby, whoo child. Your partner will stir some things, okay? We'll show you some things about yourself, okay? Where you could hide it. You could walk away from facing it. You could, put that up on the shelf till later before. It ain't going nowhere when you get married. You either deal with it or it's gonna keep on showing up to sock you in the chin, okay? And At first I was salty. Like, what in the world? What in the world? But you really have to be grateful for your hardships. You have to be grateful for it because it's showing up for a greater purpose. It's showing up to reveal yourself to you to be better. To not be better, be your best. You can always say that you're doing better. Are you showing up as your best? And that's what this last year has really called out of me. Am I showing up as my best? I want to show up as my best. And sometimes that takes you holding your tongue. I had to learn, like, don't take it up with people, take it up with God. Like, we'll get in moments and be so angry because, like, I was angry because of what God showed me. God had shown me, like, this is my husband and we're going to get married and it was going to be healthy and we were going to have the things and we were going to share a love we never knew. So, like, when I was coming into days where it was not feeling like that, I'm like, nah, let me set him straight. Let me set him straight because this is not what I see. Like, and one day it hit me hard, okay? God knocked me outside my head, like, leave him to me. It ain't for you to correct, it's for me to handle. Who do you think you is saying you about to correct this? You correct you. You work on you and let me work on him. And I really start going to God like, all right. You the one that told me it was gonna be different. So now you don't want me to bother him about it. I'm about to bother you. I'm about to bother you. I'm about to take it up with you, all right? Like, what in the world? And as crazy as that sounds, like, sometimes you just gotta get stuff above for you. And God can handle it. God can handle it. And I felt free. You know, I done said my piece and not bother my husband with it, so we not arguing. Okay. I done said my piece to God and I can move forward because now I done got it off me. And he the one that showed me differently. So I'm like, all right, God, well, I'm going to take it up with you and let you handle it. And it's not going to change overnight. It's not all going to change overnight. Y'all crazy for thinking that. But them subtle changes, baby, okay? Those subtle changes where you know it ain't nobody's hand but God. They just fill me up. They just fill me up. This though went in so many different directions. So many different directions today, but I really prayed, like, God, let me reach who I'm supposed to reach. Let me say what I'm supposed to say past my comfortability sometimes. Because if I can help in you not having to live the hard lesson, that's what I want to do. I wish that I would have had that. I wish I would have had somebody able to be vulnerable enough in front of me so I didn't have to live the hard lesson. But now that I done lived it, okay. Now that I don't live the hard lesson, I'm trying to save a few people from not living the hard lesson. From not letting anger and rage consume them in such a way that they can't reach what God always intended. They can't reach what their heart desires, because God don't just have a plan. God puts something inside of us that desires something different. I was desiring something different as a little girl. I didn't know how it was going to happen or how I was going to make it out, but I'm like, God, I do not belong around this craziness. I do not belong around this craziness. And now I'm going to move differently so my children never have to experience it. That my house with my marriage and my family is different. God knows what I deserve. God knows what you deserve. I love y'all.